collection called Invoking the Muse, and it's also been issued on a CD called The Sounds of Poetry.
Let's put to music. It's really
Oh,
pretty.
I love that one.
Yeah, oh, I do too.
I'm old-fashioned. I love free verse and modern style, but I like
romantic
the
side.
metaphors
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So I get odd rhyme schemes and like to talk in metaphoric phrase. So I'm a little bit old-fashioned that way.
I picked 2 poems here. I hope you like them too. Because we all traveled the same road. And then there's another one that I picked too because I was
Okay.
wondering, it's called The Present.
We all travel the same road. Distance is measured in time. Too many years we've been apart. Miles stretch over the mind and show the force of the mighty course I have been endless trying to find. Then the course I sought is found. The illusion of distance is within reach. I hear the trumpet's imaginary sound of mellow love that drifts from above. At last, I've made the trip full round.
That's life, isn't it?
Yes.
This one, called The Present, is a present from my father to me. The twist of this that a lot of people have difficulty believing is I wrote this for my father's funeral, and I did recite it at my father's funeral, but I wrote it 20 years before he passed away. So I wanted to let him see the credit I was giving him for his influence on my life. All he had, he left to me, and the riches of life fell in endless abound, to be used, not lost, to bring smiles, not frowns, worth a king's ransom, and yet, in a world of unhappy, I am unique, having no money left to me, but the richness of laughter, the fullness of wisdom, and a love growing inside for the world to see. He is gone, but he's not dead. He lives inside my laugh, entwined in my actions, encased in my soul, and I have become a richer man, confessing through no fault of my own.
Thank you.
I'm so lucky to have a father like him.
Yeah.
He was a great dad.
That's
Great, Dad.
You got to meet him.
Oh, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Your children too?
So many times people don't tell the people that's important in their lives how they
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, yeah.
And I just didn't want to miss that opportunity to let him know the influence he had on my life beyond riches or anything that he couldn't give. He gave me many, many, many more blessings.
We don't take advantage of the time
Right.
that we have.
And we try and practice the same now with our own kids, and obviously finding Alice's family. We want to share our lives and be part of other people's lives before we look up someday and say, gosh, wish,
Wish
coulda,
we had
shoulda.
said that.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
We'd like to have our next book be about Hidetoshi coming to America
I
and
was just
seeing
going
America
to. I
through
was
his
going to
eyes.
ask you.
Would that be
would there be a
interesting?
chance of them ever coming over?
Yeah, yeah.
We've been
we just
holding
spoke
back
to
on a
him.
sequel because that would be such a neat idea of a continuation of them seeing America from their eyes.
Japan's going through a tough time right now economically, and worse, I think, than we are. And he said they were trying to save money to come. You know, so yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? It would be.
That would be. That would
I
be
would love
awesome.
it. When I was in Japan, we had an earthquake, and it so happened Hidetoshi and I were in our first earthquake together. He had never experienced one before. I thought everyone in Japan experienced
Yeah.
one, but we were in a store when it happened, and the very next day there was a aftershock, and I'm at the top of a very tall building, and the building was made to not break, but you know, in my mind, I'm going to die because the building was doing this, you know, and I'm at the very top of this very tall building, and I'm actually having a running on conversation with God saying, I don't want to die. Why did you bring me all this way if I'm going to die? And I'm angry that he's allowing this to happen because I see myself at the bottom of rubble. So when the aftershock stops, I'm saying, got to pull myself together. Hidetoshi's little girl was home. I didn't want her to see me upset. I wanted to stay calm for her. And so I went in to make myself a cup of tea in the kitchen. Now, one of the miracles that happen in this particular story has to do with this packet. Wanting so much to know for sure what I'm going to do next is the right thing in God's eyes, because I live in God's steps. I don't live for me as much as I do for God, because my own fears would scare me back into my bedroom and I'd shut the door. We're all afraid of everything, but if you know it's the right thing to do, and I'd already made a commitment to God that I would be there for the purpose of passing on my mother's Bible, and I'd not mentioned that to you before, but to pass on my mom's Bible and taking the risk of maybe losing my family that I had so long searched for, but to also prove to God. So I'm back in the kitchen, I'm making this tea bag, and I'm saying, God, I'm here to pass that book on. Why are you allowing this to happen? The aftershock stops. I go to make the tea, and he answers by telling me, you are supposed to be here. In no other terms, but yes, you are supposed to be here. I'm looking for a tea bag. I'm thinking, looking at all these chicken scratches on these cans, how am I ever going to find a tea bag? But I see a ceramic container that looks like what you would see in a restaurant, and I pull it out. And in that ceramic container were several packets of sugar with my name on it. And you could have swore God said, Ellis, you are supposed to be here.
We never saw a word of English anywhere, so
No.
the first sign is her name on a tea bag.
I mean, the odds of it. And when I asked Hidetoshi what those bags were, which turned out not to be tea bags but sugar bag packets, he said, Sugar Company, Sugar Company. I said, no, that's my name. He had no idea.
I was going to ask you, since we just about to close the show,
Yes.
I'd like to close with you reading a poem that you wrote at Life's Experiences. And I think it fits who you are and where you came from, and to share the audience
I wrote
with
this
us.
right after my heart was broken by my first love after leaving the family. I went right into a bad relationship, just as you do. It's called Life Experiences. It's a cycle going on. I broke it after that. The golden leaves fall fluttering in the wind, reaching the ground with barely a scratch. Like many floating feathers, our friend the wind shoots them in a whirlwind, scattering them apart and smashing them one by rhythmic blows. They are no longer soft, but coarse in texture from their sorry journey. With the last sweeping motion of the wind, they find their final resting spot under the blades of grass. The melody dies, the shrill of the wind vanishes, and all is quiet once more. Again, that's life. We go
That
through
was
our ups and
written
downs, our bumps, our
with you.
scratches.
And you wrote it
Yes.
when you were a kid. You know, you
Yes.
guys are wonderful. I could go another
Thank you.
hour talking to the two of you. It's just wonderful having you here. Thank
You
you.
make it easy.
You're welcome.
You make it really easy.
Thank you for being here at the Authors Forum. And until the next Authors Forum, have a very inspiring week. Thank you. Thank you.